going on, everybody? It's Geoff Grammer with the Albuquerque Journal, and this is the ABQJournal Albuquerque Journal Sports Live weekly show. I'm joined by...
That sounds about right. I think that sounds correct.
I get it right? Okay. All right, I'm joined by Sean Reider. Sean, how's it going?
Grammer, I'm good. How are you, man?
Pretty good. So we do this every Tuesday from the Todium Center at UNM outside their football stadium at the south end zone of the football stadium, and we do that because this is where the weekly coaches, I guess, conference is. I guess luncheon.
There's lunch.
And Jason X spoke today, coming off a loss to Lobo football, coming off a loss against San Jose State on the road by 7. In a lot of ways, surprisingly, it was only 7. And he was asked questions about what you draw from that. It was an ugly game, and yet it was only 7. And good and bad, what do you take from that? And also prepping this week's game at Boise State. The former head coach of Idaho for 3 years is returning to Idaho to play some football this week, and a lot of talk there. And we could also talk today a little bit about the Lobo How. We actually have some basketball to talk about, and we will cover all those. First, we're going to start with Sean, kind of recapping the highlights of the presser today, and maybe any injury updates or anything like that. What went on today, Sean?
In terms of injury updates, I did want to get some out of today's presser. Dimitri Johnson, wide receiver Michael Buckley, cornerback Abraham Williams, and safety David Murphy all left the San Jose State game on Friday with ailments that we don't know about quite yet. He was asked about it during today's press conference. He said he'll have some more information during, really heading into the injury report when that drops on Thursday. So we will see what that kind of looks like when that comes out. Safety Clint Stevens, who I think played, I don't remember his snap count in the San Jose State game off the top of my head, but apparently he's been ruled out with something as well. So that is the one kind of hard piece of injury news that we have right now. I will try and get more information on that throughout the week. In terms of San Jose State, recapping that, I mean, he said, look, disappointing loss for us in a lot of respects. Kind of made the point to, say, like, look, we were proud to be 3-1. The community was really proud to be 3-1. But when you're 3-1, it's not like things get any easier for you. If anything, things get tougher for you. Teams are going to play you harder and all that. They're going to know that you're coming into their place. And he said he thought San Jose State played their best game of the season. UNM obviously did not. And that there's a lot that UNM needs to clean up. He mentioned, in particular, kind of the slow starts. That's something that they're actually flipping practice around to kind of try and address. He made a point at one point to mention that. He mentioned at one point that he thought the physicality of UNM in the game was just not up to par, not with not what they would what they're really looking for. I asked him, did he think it was the fact that it was a short week and they only had one padded practice, did that play into it? And he said, no, not really. So apparently they're gonna shift some stuff up in practice to get that going again too.
I will say real quick on that note about the fast starts. 5 games. They've not scored once on their opening drive, which is pretty interesting, especially since that's the drive you kind of chart. Well,
they're also not great like coming out into the second half either, right, which is a weird element too. And we should have followed up on that a little bit more today too. But statistically, like I think they've only scored like once out of either of those drives.
Well, what I thought was noteworthy, and I told you a little before the show, it isn't as though they aren't trying some things offensively to score quick. Obviously they're trying to score all the time, but like they at least 3 games. You think it might be more. This court is messing with me here.
I think it might be more.
You think it might be more, but I said at least 3 games they've done a trick play on their opening drive. You think it might have been 4 or all 5? Certainly wasn't all 5, was it? Anyway, at least 3 of the games this year, they've pulled out a trick play on the opening drive. I mean, obviously they're trying to catch people in that first drive, and they're going for big plays. If you're pulling out trick plays, you're going for a big play, and they just can't score on that opening drive. It is kind of weird.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what they're given. What this Boise State defense is, not to get all the way into Boise State quite yet, but given what they are and, what UNM does well, I'm very curious to see what their opener, their kind of opening script does look like against Boise State. I think we'll learn a good deal from that drive in particular. Beyond that, and then look, Eck kind of applauded Boise at certain points as well in terms of talking about going up and playing them. Said the fact that, I asked, there's always plenty of motivation to play this game anyways. But, you know, the fact that UNM has only beaten them once in program history, and that was 10 years ago, you know, one of the great nights in Albuquerque sports history. Does that get brought up in terms of, you know, talking to the guys and all that? And he said, not really. He did say that multiple times that he thought Boise was not only the standard of the Mountain West, but the standard has been among, you know, G5, G6 programs and all that. Said, you know, in a certain way, really coming here was attractive because he knew Boise was going to be out of the conference. Right. You don't have to deal with Boise anymore and all that as well. He has some experience coaching against Boise in the past and playing against them actually at Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And
he has that photographic coach's memory too, where he was recalling a play on the final drive of 97, I think, maybe
97. We should get him. We should honestly just have a press conference, like a bye-week presser, where we just ask him moments from random games.
Yeah,
because his eyes light up, and he's like, "Oh yeah, our quarterback didn't see the safety on that
corner
it's
blitz."
It's great.
You don't even have a memory from 30 minutes ago.
I don't know.
It was a cornerback blitz. Hit the quarterback in the back and something like that. Anyway, yeah. So there's some of the highlights there. I did ask him after the presser because I was a little surprised he didn't get asked. But the cliche question when you're playing Boise State, at least for the first time with the coach, is about the blue.
Oh, he kind of brought it up on his own. The venue.
Yeah, well, he talked about the venue.
He didn't really bring up the field. He was more, and that was what I was kind of looking for, more or less.
Venue or the field?
The venue.
I'm all about the field, man. I don't care about
no disrespect to the blue. It's awesome. And like we were talking about, they're the first ones to do it. So like,
well, that's what he said. Yeah. Like he's not a fan of the color per se. He's an old line coach, right? He's an old offensive line coach. So he is a traditional, more I think turf should be green, but gave his props to, like, if you're gonna do what Boise did and be the first to do it and like get what you can get out of it. Like Boise's done wonders with the blue. It is their whole marketing campaign. It's
great. Yeah.
It is their thing. And that said, I think it's safe to say UNM's renovation, the discussions that are going on right now will not include University Stadium going to a red turf anytime soon.
Red or silver or anything but turquoise.
Alamogordo High School went to gray, and
I didn't know that. Yeah,
looks like a paved parking lot. I don't like it.
Wow,
a lot of white lines.
The only
like lanes to park.
Only
everything.
Negative thing I've ever heard you say about Alamogordo.
I will sing the fight song, but yeah, okay.
Okay.
So there we go on football. We will. This will predominantly be football today. I will touch up right now real quick on the Howl, though. The Lobo Howl and some Lobo basketball is underway. Fans got to get their eyes on Lobo basketball players for the first time this past weekend. Freshmen kind of dominated the night, right? On the 3-point contest, it was the men's 3-point champion was freshman Jake Hall. Kaya Foster won the women's 3-point contest. They went head to head, and she beat Jake Hall in the overall 3-point championship handily. She won. It was the 3-point setup, Sean. I know you weren't there. You were busy watching K-pop Demon Hunters, and the 3-point contest was 2 players on either end of the court. First 1 to 7 wins, and she hit her first 6 shots. Jake, I think, hit 2 at that point, and was kind of getting in his head. I think the crowd was getting, pro Kaya Foster, sorry. And she missed a couple in a row, and I think the final score was 7-4. But yeah, she was good, man. She's good. And the scouting report I got ahead of time from 2 people, including Ken Sickinger. I won't say who the other one was, but Ken Sickinger at the Journal said she's the one. She's the one I'll pick to win it. And she sure did. So dunk contest, freshman Uriah Tenet won. It was actually one of the better dunk contests I've ever seen. Partly because the judging was so good. We had some fantastic judging that night. How they picked those, I don't know. How they picked those judges, I can't tell you. It was remarkable, but
I heard it was quite the process.
Usually in
process
in a dunk contest like that, you got four contestants in this one. One of them tries a few dunks that like just don't fall, right? Just don't happen. One of them does okay, and then like 2 of them are pretty good. But by the end, you have one person stand out. All 4 of these guys in the dunk contest on Saturday night, I'm legitimately telling you, had fantastic dunks. Any one of the 4 could have advanced to the finals. And Uriah Tenet, though, the freshman, the 5'11", maybe 5'10", listed at 5'11", guard. And what I loved was, and he did this in the first round. It would have been cool if it was in the championship round, but he did it in the first round. Walks up to Jamal Fenton, who in 2011 who's a 5'9" former Lobo guard, did a backflip and then charged towards the rim and dunked it in, kind of threw the ball up, actually threw it over his head, did a backflip and then ran and caught it on the bounce and dunked it in. Everyone went crazy. It was a dunk they used on a promo video last week for the Lobo. How, having seen that in the promo video, Uriah Tenet walks up to him, one of the judges, and points at him and then does a backflip. He has someone from the stands throw the ball from the stands, and it turns out it was his dad, throws the ball. He catches the ball on the bounce from the stands and dunks it in. And that was pretty dang good. But Kevin Patton Jr., the transfer from USC, he, like, top to bottom, he could have won this thing easily. And those two guys put on a show. It was fun. Overall, the Lobo Howl went well. 2,000 to 3,000, I'll say a few thousand people were there. And I think it went really well. And there we go. Let's get back to some football now, and I'll start pulling in some of your guys' questions. Sean, let's put a bow. Let's start things off by putting a bow on San Jose State. What are your few days after the fact kind of thoughts and reaction to the San Jose State loss?
I do want to get to I want to talk about Jack Lane a little bit, because I wrote about him, and it was something that was a performance that we talked about on the show and couldn't quite make a whole lot of sense of in the way that I think we normally would like to. I did follow up with Jason today, and I did ask, okay, you looked at the tape. What was your final read on Jack's performance? He's like, I thought he played pretty well. He's like, the one trick play interception, he said, there's a detail in that play that he kind of needs to execute a little bit better to give us give us a little bit more misdirection, and I'll put that on the defense and all that. And he said that's something he kind of needs to be aware of. We've gone through it with him on tape and all that, but we probably need to coach that better too,
right?
And all that as well. I asked him, there was plays that if you watch that game where it just seemed like Jack was just holding onto the ball for way too long. And it was something we talked about in the show previously. If you were listening, you probably remember it. And he said, some of it was San Jose State was covering well and all that. And I don't know. He really didn't change a lot of his tone in terms of Jack's performance and all that too. I kind of wrote about it. I said it in some ways looked like the interceptions absolutely cost you, but I didn't feel like he, upon looking at it the next day a little bit more and not quite diving into every single play,
right.
And looking at some of the advanced numbers, I didn't think he played terrible by any stretch of the imagination either. But yeah,
I'm curious what you think.
I'll add this too. I am curious with the run game in particular and how that kind of played out and all that as well. I think it's absolutely fair to say that, yes, they had to ditch it against San Jose State because of the game situation and all that as well. And changes up front, possibly with the lack of a running game. I don't see any changes. I think they're just going to – I think part of it was –
coach him up,
and part of it was the physicality aspect that he mentioned. That seemed to be kind of the takeaway I had in that regard.
Yeah, I do think the question has to be asked, and we asked it a little bit posed it a little bit in the post game is – at some point, this really good running team is needs to show that it's a really good running team, right? I mean, we are 5 games in, and half the time they've looked like a really good running team. But that's only half the time at this point. And we're 5 games into a 12-game season. You probably need to start showing it a little bit more. Boise's a tough team to show it against, and yet they will. I'd be shocked if they don't really try and put an emphasis on the run game, because it really opens up Jack so much.
No, yeah, and I kind of, in talking about the defense, he noted this too. Because I asked him, you're not going to play an offense like San Jose State again this season and all that too. What do you kind of take from a game like that, where yes, it didn't look great in a lot of respects, but you also, you're not going to see a team like that going forward, a team that plays that style and all that. And something he kind of got down to was we probably just need to plan better. And I think that can tie in, frankly, to some of the offensive stuff as well. I don't get the sense that everybody was all too pleased with kind of the game plan to a certain degree and how it played out.
Aztec 2 Tacoma has another one, and I'll go straight to his second one here. After watching the game over, I was a little disappointed with the scheme change defensively. The lack of a rush and the loose zone coverage got picked apart.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah. Again, I want to point to the New Mexico State game with 9 sacks being a little bit of fool's gold to think that was going to happen.
Outlier,
yeah. I mean, certainly when it ties a program record, it's obviously an outlier, but that was just, I don't know that is what this team is going to be lead the nation, lead the conference in sacks kind of team. I do think they can get some pressure though, but I don't think they're going to be necessarily a super high volume sack team this year.
Yeah, and it's hard too. The lack of a rush with San Jose State, like you are kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? If you bring an extra guy and all that, well, do you want another guy in coverage and everything there too? And they get the ball out so quickly. And Eck, he noted he was really tempted to not have that, to go with that 3 down front initially, because we're not going to get to them in the way that we hope. But obviously they had to shift right back to it, and it was what it was.
All right, jump to another one here. Justin Martinez in on YouTube is saying, I believe that San Jose State will make some noise in the Mountain West. That was a quality team. Not too upset overall. Lots to work on. But when was the last time we expected to beat a team like San Jose State in the last 5 years?
I think you could say 2023, maybe. San Jose State came in here with a 1-5 record, and they've lost some close games and all that. And they had a good offense that wasn't quite clicking. And I don't remember if I picked UNM or if I picked San Jose State, but I thought it was a winnable game for UNM.
Last week?
Say it again?
Last week?
2023. 2023, if only because I thought it was a winnable game last week as well. But 2023, I thought they could do it, if only by the virtue that San Jose State had just not gotten it done.
Right.
UNM's at home. UNM had shown some nice things, and we kind of recapped that on last week's show. They got absolutely blitzed in the second half and lost like 52-24.
I'm putting this one up here now just to get the attendance stuff out of the way. Tommy Tom is asking, hey, guys, you both put out quality content. Appreciate you. Makes me a smarter sports fan.
Thank you, Tommy.
I don't trust anything you say, Tommy. If the sports books are right and the Lobos lose by 2 touchdowns plus at Boise, what will attendance look like for Reno?
I will say we basically had it right in the middle. I was saying 13, 14 points. You were saying kind of 16,
17, 18, I think.
16, 17, 18, yeah. And 15 points is what I saw yesterday.
Yeah, I nailed it.
So okay.
Nailed it.
Okay. Right in the middle. Good stuff.
And you like how I was going like with 4 different numbers? I think it'll be somewhere in the 10 to 20 range. Nailed it.
Look, Reno is, by the way, this is news. It's a 7:45 kick now at home.
Yep. It is a nighttime kick. It is the worst team in the league. It is these aren't all meant as excuses. These are just the factors going into the attendance at Nevada. It is not New Mexico State. It is a place at University Stadium that averaged 16,000 a game last year. Can they get to 20,000 this game? I think they can. I think that the number of people that maybe bought their ticket right after that last New Mexico State game, there'll still be those, which was probably a decent number. So I think they'll get around 20,000. It might be a sparse 20,000 like that actually shows up.
It's homecoming too, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, it is homecoming. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah, this will be a 20,000 seat game, which is good for the last place team in the Mountain West in the middle, of the season. Like if you look at history now, if you look at expectation and what people around here certainly felt the expectation had been, raised to or was elevated to.
We'll take that.
Then 20 might be a disappointment when you look at the numbers, 37 down to 20. Okay. But I'll tell you, if they get 20 a game the rest of the season, they haven't got 20 a game, but in weeks 6 and beyond in, I don't know, probably decades.
Long time. Yeah. No, I don't think that would be. I don't think 20 plus would be a disappointment whatsoever. And look, we all understand how how big the New Mexico State game is in terms of attendance and all that for both programs, UNM and NMSU. It's very important in terms of maintaining fan interest, all that throughout the year. I do think it probably kind of hurt UNM a little bit in the sense that they had to go on the road for 2 weeks after that as well, and coming back 0-2 after that. Yeah, I do think that absolutely dampens things. I mean, we kind of, I think you would feel like you had lost a little momentum in terms of on the field and off the field.
Yeah, and you're not bringing a crowd. The visiting crowd's not bringing several thousand like New Mexico State did.
Yeah.
They're not coming from Reno in the thousands, especially now that Brock Purdy's brother is not going to be the quarterback.
Carter Jones, who showed some nice things against Fresno State.
Yeah, well, the Brock Purdy clan won't be coming out.
Geoff Choate said Saturday night. He said we saw the future tonight, which is kind of a hard line.
Wow. Let's jump back to basketball real quick so I can answer this one. Rob up in Fort Collins is letting us know he would love to hear more about Kevin Patton Jr. Albury saying he is an NBA talent. I did have a podcast out today with Dayton Albury, the point guard for the Lobos. And he made 3 like really bold predictions. It was kind of cool that he did this, because not one of them was did I ask him for the said specific prediction. I did ask him what players are like, who on this team might surprise some people. You guys are all a little bit of an unknown to the fans around here, but like, who do you think maybe is going to surprise people in any way? And one of his surprises, I'll tell you the 2 bold predictions he made about teammates. One is Kevin Patton Jr., 6'7" forward, is going to be in the NBA. He's going to be drafted in the NBA. Not this year necessarily, but like, he has the athleticism, the build, the size. He has everything that the NBA does right now, and drafts like crazy. And Kevin Patton Jr., you could see it, man. You can see the skill set. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And Dayton Albury, having practiced with the Bahamas national team in the past and worked out with them, knows certainly has been teammates and worked out with on a regular basis some NBA players, including the number 3 overall pick, VJ Edgecombe, who from Baylor, who went to Philadelphia 76ers, who is one of his other 3 bold predictions is he will be Rookie of the Year. He said, book it right now. And so we got the NBA Rookie of the Year projection. We got Kevin Patton, Lobo forward, transfer from USC, will be drafted in the NBA. And Jake Hall will be the Mountain West Freshman of the Year. So there you go. There are the 3 bold predictions that I don't think anybody else, maybe the VJ Edgecombe prediction will be made by some, but I don't think either one of those predictions will be made by many about the 2 Lobo players. So you want to hear more about Kevin Patton Jr., Rob? I do too, and I'm told that he would probably make a really good podcast guest. So my request is in, and not just here on the show. I've literally made that request that Kevin or there's a couple other guys I've requested be on the podcast. Hopefully this next week. I think during the season, I'm not going to try and get a player every week, kind of an understanding that I'm not going to do that to them, but maybe twice a month. So a player every other episode, and just alternate somehow the other ones. But I think in the preseason, I'm going to try and get 3 or 4 of these before the season starts. And Dayton Albury was the first one. The Talking Grammar podcast. You can check that out on the Journal's YouTube page or wherever you get your podcasts.
VJ Edgecombe. Buy stock now.
Buy stock now.
Place the future. Hi, Matt. How are you?
Hi, guys.
Hey, Matt.
How's the Cowboys fan feeling today?
Wow, you really had to do that?
Yeah. Lobos should have an advantage in conditioning over most teams since they practice at high elevation, maybe more up-tempo offense.
They don't want to be a tempo operation.
Yeah.
They've said that from the get-go. That's not what they want to do. They want to huddle. They don't want to be a tempo operation here. So I don't know. I don't. What was it? It was like the K-gun offense back in the day. They figured out because they're like, whoa, our 2-minute offense is way better and all that. I don't think they're having that realization. I think it's more of a no. We need to take care of the ball better, and we need to run the football better. And I think they're going to go probably the opposite direction from going more up tempo to just kind of let's do what we're supposed to do best.
Yeah, it's interesting too, right? Like some of the more successful across the street, and I do basketball, so across the street, some pretty successful Lobo teams through the years have been up tempo, high tempo kind of teams that wear the other team out, right? You can see it in the second half. There's a reason though, like everyone just assumes because you practice in it all the time, you're going to be in such better shape. There's a reality too that there's a reason Wyoming basketball has always been one of the slowest teams in the country. There's a Larry Shiat's successful teams were pretty slow. Just practicing it all the time, and football hasn't exactly ever been to my knowledge, has Wyoming football ever been a run and gun kind of offense?
Well, back in the day, kind of, yeah, like the 80s and all that.
Okay,
I think so.
All right,
I might be misremembering, but no, certainly not the Craig Bull era. No.
But I have been told this by coaches before. Like when you're practicing it all the time, you no matter how conditioned you get by the end of the year, like you're still pretty tired, and there are times you need to rest, and there are times you don't want to keep pushing your teams in practice and every single game to be high tempo and low oxygen environments, because it tends to wear on you by the end of the year too, right? So yes, it seems like an advantage. I'm not going to suggest it's a disadvantage by any stretch, but I don't think it's as you can capitalize on as much as it seems initially. Air Force, they're a team that doesn't exactly do a high-paced kind of offense in basketball or football. They wear you down, but it's more of a physical kind of methodical plotting kind of obviously the option game isn't known for no huddle and all that kind of stuff, although they've had some success going fairly quick out of the no huddle sometimes, or out of the option sometimes. But anyway, I digress. The point is, not every high elevation team goes run and gun just to wear the other team out, because I think it actually wears on that team a lot more than people realize by the end of the season.
And in fairness to Gilbert's point, like Air Force in particular, like football and basketball, like they're not making that decision because we're at elevation.
Yeah,
it's far more of a this is the personnel we can get,
right.
And all that as well too. Yeah, whatever year Wyoming had like all those great receivers, maybe it was like early 90s or whatever.
You read about this in a history book?
No, Cody Tucker was talking to me about it one time. And I was like, "What? That happened?"
Craig Johnson on YouTube saying 3 picks against yet a single score loss in one of the shakiest efforts. Coach them up in Boise. There's no one up there that is even remotely ready for the homecoming disaster.
I love the homecoming disaster. I love that we put a name on it. That's awesome. Yeah, it's I think in the aftermath where Graham and I had our best ever post-game show, where we just said, like, that was a really weird game, man. Like, just kind of,
see that?
That was a weird one, huh?
Weird, huh?
I think that is, I think at this point, the way I'm thinking about it now, yeah, like, certainly it's way more of a positive that you didn't really play particularly well in some regards. You had some guys playing well and all that, and you were kind of losing dudes to injuries left and right at a certain point, but you only lost by a touchdown.
Yeah.
And Eck gave him credit for that today, too. He's like, we did not stop fighting. And that was good to see.
It is interesting that you play that poorly and still give yourself a chance to win. There's something to take from that. But that doesn't erase we still played that poorly part.
Yeah.
And they did play poorly in a lot of aspects of the game. So yeah, like you said, coach them up. One of my favorite kind of cliche old lineman coach kind of comments.
Salt of the earth guy. I do, and I did ask, Eck made this point actually about San Jose State. He's like, in the spring week, and I remember they did this, in the spring they snuck in a day of Air Force prep, just getting an option look and all that as well, as opposed to doing it all the week before, the week before when they play Air Force. He said, this offense in the future, we might have to do that.
Yeah.
We really might have to take advantage of that.
It's so...
Because it's unique, it's different. There's really nobody, and it's, Idaho State was kind of a precursor, but I think clearly San Jose State ran it a lot better. And that part of that was because of just the personnel that they had.
Did you see you have to pay anything to the Mountain West for joining a year early? And if so, does UNM get any of that money? Not to my knowledge. I don't think they paid anything to enter early. They were invited in, and as a favor to them to avoid being an independent for a year because they were not joining the West Coast Conference this year. I think the Mountain West took them in early. But no, they didn't have to pay anything to get in there. The Mountain West was in need of some programs. So they, there wasn't a payment to get in. It was just the exit fees to get out of where they were kind of thing. Will Nevada's new basketball arena be adjacent / managed by a casino? And when does it open? It doesn't open for a couple of years still, but it's connected to the Grand Sierra Resort. And that's who's paying, footing the bill for it. And my goodness, if it looks like the renderings and they've broken ground,
pretty sick.
It is a venue that will host tournaments like Big West and WAC and those kind of tournaments. Will probably, I'll bet you they land one of those at some point. Probably not the Mountain West tournament. I don't see that leaving Las Vegas for a variety of reasons, but I would tell you that Reno is going to be one hell of a location for basketball events. Down the road. Ronnie Chavez is asking on YouTube, Geoff, what is your honest opinion of the ceiling for New Mexico or for the new basketball team? I'd say the ceiling is, NCAA tournament and Mountain West championship. I do think the Mountain West championship part of that comes with a little bit of an underperformance by San Diego State, probably. The whatever window you give San Diego State to win the league and whatever chance that they don't win it, they'll probably have to fall into that something happened that they aren't going to win it thing. But I'm telling you, the upside of this UNM basketball team is they could be good enough to win the Mountain West. I don't see any reason outside of San Diego State that at their best they can't compete with every single team. So if you're telling me there's only one San Diego State or the field. New Mexico is certainly good enough to be at the top of the field, and I don't think San Diego State is so far above everybody else that I would take them against the field. I think they could win the Mountain West. I won't predict it, but I think they could. If you're asking ceiling, I think they go to the NCAA tournament and win the Mountain West. Dak MVP. I do not see that. Actually, you know what? I don't see that because I don't see the Cowboys being good enough, but Dak's numbers are going to be pretty good. That's for sure.
I'm a Dak guy. I respect Dak, man. Good win for your Niners, by the way. Oh, my gosh. That was a really fun win. Oh, my God.
Best win of the week.
That was awesome.
They may never lose again.
All right. We're getting into okay. Richie, what's up, man?
How'd Detroit do this week?
The Bengals traded for Joe Flacco. That's how they did.
I'm excited that we get a home game after 7. I can finally not use PTO to get to the game. That is true, man. I feel bad for you that you have to use PTO to get to any Lobo game you do go to.
Yeah. Selfishly, I am not too pleased with the late kick, but
what's funny is when I saw Richie and my boys, I asked about Detroit, thinking I was like, "Oh, Richie's here. Let's ask how Detroit is." That's where my brain is right now. Forgetting you're the Detroit fan and he's the Giants fan. That was weird. I'm an old man. I am an old man. Who's the next Lobo men's basketball you're going to interview? It's a good question. I will let you know when I am told. I have several requests in, and we will see who is okayed to interview. I don't say that like in a way that they're not letting me interview the next player. I just haven't been told who it's going to be.
Well, it's scheduling stuff too.
Yeah.
Guys have classes and all that too.
So, all right. Let's get back to some football. Boise State. What do Lobo fans need to watch for? What do the Lobos need to worry about? How are you Team Madsen or not? Maddox.
I am less in on. Were you not Team Madsen last year? Remember? Yeah. Okay. And I was more Team Madsen. I am a little bit off the Team Maddox-Madsen train. I think Eck made a good point today. I didn't get to see that entire game. I'll have to circle back and kind of dig a little bit deeper into it later in the week. I did watch chunks of it. The Notre Dame Boise State game, 28-7, Notre Dame win. At what is Notre Dame Stadium called again?
All I know is
that's bad that I'm blanking on that. Anyways, Eck made the point. He said I kind of thought it was similar to Jack's game in the regard that they were throwing it way more than they wanted to. So yeah, he threw 4 picks, but it really, he said I didn't think he played terribly or anything by that stretch. Where it was he wasn't seeing things and all that as well too. I don't know.
I'm going to go with Notre Dame Stadium.
Notre Dame Stadium. That makes sense.
I was going to say that, but then I was like, man, that sounds like I'm making a joke.
I walked by Geoff's laptop today, and I saw open a Google AI summary.
Thank you, Google, for this one. I would have been embarrassed.
The first line was, no, Jason Eck does not coach at Boise State. So
currently
does not coach at
breaking news. I don't want to start rumors.
Breaking. You guys aren't going to believe this, but
I did during
thank you, Google AI.
I during the press conference, Google Jason Eck and Boise State because I wanted to see what his history playing Boise State was. And the Google AI question that was left up on my screen when I left it was, no, Jason Eck does not coach Boise State.
News to me.
I was about to go ask that question during the presser, so I'm glad Google helped me out there.
Like, I don't think Madsen is as bad as maybe like the most disgruntled fan might feel. Do I think he is as much? I know, bold take. Do I think he is? Do you think he's a top 3 quarterback in Mountain West?
So I'm pulling up Mountain West stats right now just so I can get a full list of quarterbacks and kind of. I mean, like, just compare him to Jack Lee.
Like, is EJ Warner better than the Maddox Madsen?
Yeah,
I think so. I think so.
Okay, well, who are you taking?
I think that's actually a good take.
Why don't you just compare the quarterbacks this week?
Lane, I'd probably still take Madsen. Like, honestly.
A little more proven, right? I mean,
he started quarterback for a college football playoff team. Granted, that team had Genty, and they had a lot of great things going on the defense and all that too. I will. I know this is getting some attention from Boise fans in particular because I know they are not particularly pleased with their secondary play that they've seen out of Boise State to this point. Eck did say, and I don't think it was him, talking out the wazoo or whatever about. he did say, like, hey, this is a very, very good secondary. He said he really likes the athleticism that they bring. Really likes how some of their corners play and all that too. And he felt the Notre Dame game in particular that it wasn't that Notre Dame was like just picking them apart and they were busting coverage. He was like, those were like a lot of like really good catches. They're actually covering pretty well.
Yeah.
He touched on some of the talent up front. Obviously, Jaden Virgin-Morgan, the edge guy over there. His numbers haven't been like insane this year. And I think part of that is because they just don't have Hassanin. And Hassanin was kind of the guy that other teams were keying on to a certain degree. And then they got, really good running backs, right? I mean, Malik Sherrod, as slow starts this season from him coming over from, Fresno State. It seems like he's got some good things going too. The main thing I kind of talked about though is that they're not all that dissimilar from UNM in the sense that like they want to run the football. Like they want to do that. They want to impose their will in the run game and all that. If you take that away, that is where you can have some issues. In their wins, when they've ran it well, it's been a kind of dominant wins and all that. And
these two teams are alike in that regard.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting. So yeah, it is kind of like if you want to think about like keys to the game, it's this week you got to run the football and you got to try and stop the run.
This goes back to when we're still talking the San Jose State game. Their defensive line engaged our line lower and we couldn't get any leverage.
Yeah.
Don't disagree there. Now let me scroll back down. This is another one of those where the time stamp is screwing up some posts here. All right, so Adam Lopez is in on X. Geoff, you judging any more dunk contest? How about that, huh?
Yeah, you going into business anymore?
I mean, yeah, two former basketball stars and the one guy shaped like a basketball, and I'm touring the country as a dunk contest judge. Also, were the Lobos opportunities to take advantage of chances against Boise State? Yeah, what are the
probably the secondary? I think so.
As good as Zach is gassing up that secondary, like the reality is that is still the weak link.
I think that probably is the weak link, honestly. And I think Adam, we were talking about it on the last show, the post game show, a little bit about it too. I think and I think if they are going to walk away from Boise with a win, they're going to need some good stuff out of the pass game. Frankly, I think they're going to need an explosive there. To kind of make that work. Matt, do we know which uniform combo UNM football will wear at Boise State?
The all blue.
Wow.
No? Wow. How about if they wore the turquoise for this?
I've kind of almost forgot about the turquoise.
You told me on this show.
Well,
you got to wear it for the New Mexico State game. I mean, what game would you wear it for?
Probably homecoming now, right? Like I think homecoming. Yeah. I don't know, Matt. They usually not set on like Thursday and all that. So
unless they save it for the Rose Bowl.
Eck did say he imagines that Albertson Stadium will be louder than the Rose Bowl was.
Yeah, he did say that.
He did say that.
He's a big fan. I mean, he coached there for 3 years. He gets that Boise has a hell of a program, and he said it goes way beyond those 3 years. He said that is what everyone's striving to be, right? He's not the first coach to say any of this, but like that's the consistency you strive to be. When he was an assistant at Idaho, the first stint, Dan Hawkins was the head coach up there for a little bit, but then he said Chris Peterson, who he called one of the best coaches in his life, in his lifetime. So yeah, a lot of respect from Jason Eck for Boise State and the program and the consistency. That sometimes consistency isn't sexy, and fans still get upset when maybe it's only an 8-win season and not a CFP run or something like that. But like the reality is, man, or in these parts, 8-win seasons aren't something to complain about.
Yeah, 8-win seasons gets you
extensions.
Yeah, man, they hook you up. Juan Beza, good to see you. Am I crazy for believing that the Lobos match up better against Boise than San Jose State? I don't think you are, man.
Yeah, it's better matchup.
And I kind of wrote about this, like, because I asked Zach the question flat out after. Yeah. Was this kind of like a bad matchup for the defense and all that? And he didn't quite say that. I don't think he was really even indicating, but he did say multiple times through the week, they do a lot on offense that neutralize what we're good at on defense. And I don't think that's what that Boise.
Look,
Boise has probably what? Can we say this is probably the best roster in the Mountain West?
Yeah,
I think that's completely fair. So that's obviously a huge element there.
Yeah. Boise State's a better team, but yeah, matchup wise, like strength for strength, weakness for weakness, what they do, what you do well, what they do well, all that stuff. Like, yeah, Boise State's a better matchup for the Lobos than San Jose State is. That just That's how it works. Just, that's how it is.
That's how it works.
Wasn't Boise and the Vandals rivals? No, they were just in the same state. They did not play once when Eck was coached there. They don't really play in basketball. They don't really play in football. It is something Eck said he would have liked to have had them do, but they don't play that often. It's actually Vandal fans are kind of pull it as a, oh, they won't play us kind of thing, and Boise State fans are like, we don't care to kind of thing. So
would you say that it's more of a rivalry with Idaho and Washington State? I didn't even know that, actually. They just kind of play more, honestly. I don't even know that they're just close.
They're 10 minutes apart kind of thing. So,
I don't know.
But no, Boise State and the Idaho Vandals are more just in the same state than in any kind of rivalry, to be honest. Did Coach Dyke provide a status update on defender Fiona Jenkins today? She has not played since September 14th. Desert Lobo, I do not recall any injury updates from Coach Dyke today, but
I don't recall either.
I don't know. Who are the players on this year's Lady Lobos basketball to watch? Well, Kaya Foster was the one who won the 3-point contest. Obviously, she's one of them. Destiny Hooks. Look, Ken Sickinger. I'll get the lowdown from Ken Sickinger for you. And I apologize. We say all things Lobo sports here and come here just ready to talk basketball and football. I'll be better next week prepared for Lobo women's questions for you. But I do know that they are primarily a new team as well. They have at least some players back, but they are primarily a new look team as well. Tony Thomas on X is saying they're going to need to send DT to the end zone.
That's absolutely going to help. Yeah, a big day from Dorian Thomas, I think, bodes well for New Mexico in general.
What a coincidence. It is an interesting last name for the DT scouting report. I will tell you that he's still right up there, playing as well as any tight end in the country, right? I mean, statistically speaking, right?
Speaking of tight end, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Lauder, Boise State's tight end, didn't play against Notre Dame. Okay. I got to look into that a little bit, actually. Let's see if he will be available this week.
So the touchdown dropped. I won't say dropped. It was defended well. Dorian's touchdown in the back of the end zone at the end of the first half.
Yeah, the 1-2, get rid of it.
Would-be touchdown was as Eck pointed out, I mean, that was actually executed very, very well. And then the defensive back, it looked like he did get his hand on Dorian's hand there. But, man, Dorian's playing – he's playing really well. Hot take there. Any updates on injured players?
Nothing yet, and the sense I get is that I don't think we're going to get any updates until the availability report is out. Now, granted, at least we're getting the availability report on Thursday night, not Wednesday as it was last week with the short week. But yeah, again, to remind, I will be at practice later today. I will see who is and isn't practicing, but I am not quite at liberty to share all the way. So that's, yeah, we've gone through that arrangement a couple times.
It is how the cookie crumbles.
We should get Ken on. That'd actually be pretty good. We got to get Yotis on too.
Bice is okay. I like it. I love it. I had a basketball mother asking me Saturday why I wasn't live streaming the Lobo How, and
why weren't you?
Well, that is exactly what I told Lucas, our sports editor. I was like, wait a minute, why how come I'm not? Like this, that would have been the perfect event to get a couple interviews in and some downtime, some dead time while they're doing the skills contest down on the floor.
When did it start? Was it like 7 p.m. or whatever?
Started at 7, went till 9. So yes. We appreciate not only all the readers and listeners locally that are viewing this show, but we certainly appreciate the family and fans from other places that are watching us.
Indeed.
Because of their the players they are fans of on the teams we cover. Oh, you weren't kidding. Washington State and Idaho are literally 10-minute drive apart. Just looked it up and learned something new.
Very close. Very close.
I know my geography in that regard because I happen to be going to Pullman in 2 weeks. I've been to both Moscow, Idaho, and Pullman, Washington.
Moscow? Did you say Moscow?
I did.
Wow, Moscow.
It's Moscow, man.
Eck
will be mad at me if I said that. Right? He would correct me.
Eck has said multiple times upon taking the job and then talking about recruiting and other points and all that. It's always sounded very fired up about the fact that the Sunport is more accessible for him compared to Pullman Musco Regional Airport and all that. He has been very fired up about
There's a
that.
W at the end of it.
I'm fired up about it too. Some port renovations have been pretty nice.
How do we match up in the trenches? Well,
Boise State's offensive line, I think you could probably consider the best in the league.
Yeah.
So I do think that's going to be a challenge for this defensive line. I will say I do think this is a good Boise State defensive line, but it hasn't quite been the production that I kind of thought you were going to see. I thought it was going to be a bigger season from Jaden Morgan. So yeah, I think this UNM team has shown that they can block a lot of teams. Frankly, I don't think it was a bad pass pro week against San Jose State. I think it was just an effect of the play was just going on too long in certain regard.
Right.
So yeah, I wouldn't say UNM has the edge in that regard, but I don't think they're going to probably get blown off the ball in the way that we've maybe seen in the past. What do you think?
I like their offensive line, and I watched a good chunk.
Casey, awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I watched a good chunk of the Notre Dame game, and while I like their offensive line, like Madsen still had to run a lot, so I don't know. I like their offensive line, but I mean, their defensive line isn't. Don't they usually have a defensive lineman who's up for Player of the Year, like preseason Player of the Year, like several, every other year, if not every year? I like their offensive line a lot. Let me get to this comment, then I'll let you guys know what we're doing on Thursday. If the Lobos win, will this upset be bigger than last year when the Lobos beat Washington State? It's an interesting one. At first, I was going to say no.
I don't remember what the point spread was.
I mean, as far as point spread goes, I don't know for sure. I mean, obviously, this one is in Albuquerque. This one's on the road, so it makes it bigger. The thing about the Washington State upset was kind of multifaceted. One was that was a Lobo team that needed to win to keep its bowl hopes alive.
Mm-hmm.
It was on a path towards a very improbable bowl. This win or loss for the Lobos doesn't really change their season all that much. The win would be huge, but the loss doesn't eliminate anything.
So it is on the road, which obviously, if you go by popular thinking, the 3 points there by playing on the road and all that are at home. Washington State was a 10.5 point favorite last year,
so this would be bigger.
This would be a bigger spread per Vegas, and I don't see this line getting down to bet down at 10.5. I have a very hard time seeing that.
I will say that I think the perception outside of Albuquerque at this time is higher for UNM than it was last year, and lower maybe for Boise State than maybe in Albuquerque right now. I think Albuquerque and UNM and Jason X still has a pretty high regard for Boise State right now. I think outside, just because they already have a couple losses and it's only 5 games in, people are like, oh, Boise State's not that group of 5 team anymore. Well, they still may be that group of 5 team. It is early. I don't
think they're that group of 5 team just because of what's going on in the American and all that. But
I mean, your love of North Texas.
Wow, huge week.
Big game coming up.
Huge week coming up, man. Huge week.
Yeah, not the nice screen.
No, but I still think Boise is absolutely a good team. Certainly in the Mountain West. So hot take.
Last time UNM beat Boise?
I don't remember the exact date, but 2015.
Yeah, it was a decade ago. Same night.
I thought you were going to pull out the full date.
No, I don't remember the date, although I should because I did a lot of work
November
that night. Same night Holly Holm beat Ronda Rousey. I know that much. If they beat Boise State, will there be over 30,000 at the Nevada game? I don't think so. I think the next home game for UNM has a realistic if win, 25 should be the target. If lose, 20 should be the target. I think those are kind of the two numbers to shoot for. I don't want to get into where I make my own little sound, gotcha soundbite video again, but it is really hard to build attendance consistently going from by October and most years here for the past decade, the attendance is already dipping to 15,000 a game.
If not falling, it's just kind of falling off a cliff to a certain degree. Yeah.
And I just don't think you build that into 25, 30 every single game just because, of what's happened so far.
Yeah.
But it's on the right path.
And I think with the New Mexico State game, yes, they're both coming off a bye, but I think the fact that they just beat UCLA combined with that kind of set the table for that sellout atmosphere. I do think there's gonna be some more fans if they beat Boise State. I don't know if that can combine with homecoming it gets it at a level quite like the UCLA New Mexico State tandem.
Would a UFL team help with any kind of new revenue if they had a team here and just use University Stadium, or is that too far a reach? Just curious. I don't think any UFL teams are big revenue generators right now.
No. They just shut down the Showboats, the Michigan Panthers, and then one other team, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I don't think so, Richie.
I don't think they're exactly on the expansion path at the moment.
Sean, what'd you do to screw up your top 25 this week?
I don't think people weren't that mad about my top 25.
I am.
What were you mad about?
I haven't seen it.
Okay. Honestly, I think I have a pretty halfway decent college poll tracker score, which doesn't really matter. I didn't have a very extreme poll either. I did have LSU pretty low, but I have not been blown away by LSU football to this point, frankly.
How high do you have North Texas ranked?
I don't have North Texas ranked. I don't have any G5, G6 teams ranked.
You're such a fake Mean Green fan.
Wow. No, I think it was what are Texas and Penn State fans gonna be mad about? Like if they're unranked? Like I don't think I heard a peep about Penn State fans or anything like that. So yeah, there was one LSU fan that was like, "Hey, what the hell?" And I was like,
"Yeah, I saw the one complaining LSU."
Yeah,
fan.
that was kind of funny. That was some banter. Texas Tech fans really like me.
They're gonna be in the playoffs.
I think so.
That is right, Hayden. Last win versus Boise. Holly Holm KO'd Ronda Rousey that same night. That is correct. All right, Thursday, for those here in Albuquerque or those out-of-towners who might be visiting for the International Balloon Fiesta. Oh, man, I can't believe it's Thursday.
This is so funny.
No, it's really not that funny. It's really not that funny at all. So this Thursday from 4 a.m., you heard me right, till 10 a.m., Sean Reider and I will be at Balloon Fiesta at the Reader Meet and Greet. You want to come by, say what's up to us?
Ryder meets the readers.
Ryder meets the readers because Geoff may have to leave early because
Grammar might. Oh my gosh!
Complaining Grammar about getting a little more access to Lobo basketball, and the media availability this week is Thursday morning. While I have already been assigned by the Journal to go to Balloon Fiesta from 4 a.m. to 10 a.m.
I asked Grammar, "Hey, you excited for Thursday?" And he said, "For the availability." And I said, "No." And then he went, "Oh, no."
I just realized right as we were pretty much going on air on this show today,
heavens no,
that the availability that I was complaining about for Lobo basketball comes on a day that we have been assigned to go stand in the cold and watch balloons fly in the air. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do just yet. So
I'll be there the full duration of the shift.
There's a possibility I will be there from 4 a.m. to about 8:30 a.m.
I will be slamming coffee, and if you want to come out and you want to chat at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, by all means, so we can come out. We can talk ball. Would love to meet some of y'all if you are going to be coming out.
As we're winding this down, I will say this: there will be some more. I mean, Ken Sickinger has Lobo women's basketball coverage in the paper. There is more Lobo basketball, men's basketball coverage coming. I'll probably write a story off the podcast. I did just do a feature on Dayton Albury. Although if you watch the podcast, the feature is going to be pulled from that content. Big sell there. Go read my story that you've already listened to him talk about. But yeah, it's a really good podcast on Talking Grammar podcast. Do you have anything lined up for your podcast this week in football?
Yes, I am having BJ Rains on.
My friend BJ Rains.
Yeah, we'll be recording I think tomorrow morning, and
okay.
Yeah, getting that out.
Are you going on his show?
I don't know if I'm going on his show.
Okay,
but he's coming on my show at the very least.
So look for that. Also, there's one other thing I was going to mention. Guess not. We did cover some of this earlier in the show, but we can kind of circle back on some injury updates.
I'll circle back on this. We didn't get any updates today. We're going to have to wait for the availability report, which is put out on Thursday nights. But I am curious to see, Michael Buckley, wide receiver, left the San Jose State game with an apparent injury. It looked like a leg injury. Linebacker Demetri Johnson did the same. Cornerback Abe Williams, and then safety David Murphy. Those are all guys that play a lot of snaps. They play key roles on the offense and the defense and all that too. So those are names that I would be thinking of in terms of guys that we don't know if they're going to be available. We don't know if they're not going to be available at this point. But we do know that they left the San Jose State game, and we don't know the extent of the injuries that they've had.
Sean, anything else you want to wrap this up? Do we want to do any kind of spin forward if they win, if they lose?
I have a question for you.
All right.
In 2023, my first year on the beat, that felt like a completely unwinnable game. UNM going up to Boise.
Yeah.
And then a week later, they go out and they beat Fresno on the road and all that too. But that kind of felt like a game that they really just had no chance in. Off of what that team was at that point, this feels. I'm not saying this is a game that UNM will win.
No, it's
this
does feel spread. It's not. It's probably not going to be an upset, but
this feels like a much more winnable game than that.
100%.
Can you remember a UNM Boise game? Maybe it was the one they played early in the season against 2022, where you felt we hadn't found out that 2022 offense was going to be as bad as it was at that point. Can you remember a game where it's like, there might be something here?
I mean, I hate to point to back in the Davie era because that is the last time they beat Boise, but like Davie's Lobos had the running attack that I think you could have at least thought, we could see this Lobo team going up there and controlling the game enough in the run game that it could happen. And they did one of those years, 2015, obviously. And there were a couple bowl teams.
2014, I thought they were pretty close too. Yeah. They had a weird.
But we're talking a decade that it's probably felt like the Lobos have a chance. Now, they're a 2 touchdown plus underdog. That's not exactly outside of two of us and a bunch of people that are sitting in that Lobo locker room right now. Like, there's not a whole lot of people that are going to say the Lobos have much of a chance. But yeah, I would say that there's far more of a realistic chance that the Lobos have of pulling off a win this week than they've had in pretty much a past decade.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the biggest thing for me in particular, right? Because even, preseason when I thought, I should say, that this could be a team that has a decent ceiling and all that, I didn't know if I still thought that this was a game that they had a shot to go up and win. And granted, yeah, they're 2 touchdown dogs. They've also won as a 2 touchdown underdog this year. Although that spread was probably a little bit screwed up. I think they're more of a 2 touchdown underdog to the iteration of UCLA I saw on Saturday.
All right. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Is New Mexico better than Penn State?
No.
You don't know how this works.
No, they're not.
You asked the question.
They're not. Well, no, I asked him if I said transit. I didn't know if he was going to have much of a reaction to that. Yeah, and he really didn't. But transitive win, of course, for New Mexico over the massively disappointing Penn State Nittany Lions, dropping that game to a completely, rejuvenated. You can use a lot of words for what we saw at UCLA on Saturday. It was not what we saw at the Rose Bowl a couple weeks back when New Mexico played them. But yeah, he said he was able to watch a good chunk. X said he was able to watch a good chunk of that game and do that.
We'll wrap up with getting some of these questions that popped in. There's a few more other ones. Was there an announced attendance for the Lobo Howl? There was not. Wonder if it was similar to UCSD sellout of 4,000. I put in my story a few thousand. If I really had to pin it down, I'd say 25 to 3 was my estimate. But yeah, there's a few thousand people there. Fly to Sky 505. Geoff, I enjoyed your interview with Dayton Albury, intelligent young man. He has some interesting predictions. His predictions are worth listening to that podcast if you get a chance. Other than the 11 million UNM got to renovate University Stadium, will there be additional funding to help renovate it? Now that it's more on the news, since the NMSU game, or is the same money Fern got? So they ask for money every single year. The $11 million they got to renovate the stadium is earmarked towards some pretty specific things, of which 1.5 is already used for the scoreboard. $1 million of that, actually about $400,000, is the athletics cost of this renovation plan that they announced last week. That's coming from that money. So $400,000 is going towards somebody basically drawing up a master plan for University Stadium and the South Campus sports entertainment district, that kind of stuff, some planning projects and stuff like that. But yeah, there's money that they're asking for every single year. That's not all they're going to get. They're certainly going to ask for a whole lot more, but they do every single legislative session for decades, and it's been going on for years and will continue to go on for years. There is an appetite right now for a lot more money to come UNM's way, and I think the ask will be a lot bigger than it's ever been, or certainly in recent memory. I think they'll ask for a lot more money. Our team has 100% confidence they can win this game. It's all about, and that's all that matters. There is zero quit in this team. I love it so much, almost as much as Bama.
I'm high on Bama, man.
Yeah.
I'm high on Bama. I like what I'm seeing there.
All right. Hot take. Alabama football's pretty good, huh?
Well, you know what? Everybody was people were not very high on Bama for a couple weeks. I'll say that. They look pretty good. Who's number one back in Lobo land right now? Scottrade or Bankston?
Right now, it's Bankston.
I think right now it's Bankston. But look, I think if they get the run game going, it's not like it's going to be 15 Bankston carries to Scottrade's 5.
Yeah.
That's always been the deal, right? Where Scottrade was more the lead back, but they always wanted to get guys involved. DJ McKinney, Damon Bankston, a bit for Deshaun Buchanan and all that. So I don't know. I don't know, honestly. I think at this point, I kind of have a hard time sitting here and saying that Scottrade is going to be the bell cow, but we kind of never expect him to be the bell cow. But yeah, I think Bankston, what he did against San Jose State. Yeah. Yes, he's the most effective back in that room right now.
I still see this
against that defense.
Yeah, I still think at some point though, this isn't going to be a 1-2 punch as much as a 1-1 punch. I think they're more two equals.
Yeah.
Just in different ways, but 15 touches each is probably what I think both may get on an ideal game for them. But that's 30 right there. Actually, that's a lot of touches for two running backs. The 2015 win in Boise was classic. The Markel Bird interception. That is correct. Rip Markel Bird, 22. All right. What do we got up there?
Oh, G-Fed's here. Oh my God. No way. Michigan guy, G-Fed. You know who G-Fed is?
I Show Speed.
No, well, he is a YouTube and
influencer is here.
Content, you could say, I don't know. Yeah, you could say, I guess he's an influencer. But
isn't that what they're all called now if they make content?
Yeah, I guess.
Am I an influencer?
I would call, I guess.
I'm an influencer.
I guess G-Fed is that guy, but G-Fed.
I'm probably the most famous influencer you know.
He's a Lansing guy, so he's from my neck of the woods. I think he went to.
I tweet a lot.
I don't know. We went to high school out there,
but
he does. He's doing like an 100 stadiums and 100 days challenge.
I do live
he's
shows.
Been going to 100 stadiums in 100 days.
Right.
He was just in Texas. He was in Wyoming over the weekend too.
ABQJournal.
He's the guy that does the videos where
local journalism.
Where he tries to stay in like an NFL stadium way after close and all that until he gets kicked out. Those are entertaining.
I do find it interesting that this guy who tries to stay in stadiums till he gets kicked out was basically on social media yesterday asking, anybody know how I can get in? It's open, man. Just come on in.
I like G-Fed stuff. I think G-Fed does a good job with this stuff.
Right.
I don't really watch his content, but I see it on social media. I'm like, oh, cool. He sat through a weird weather game in Wyoming. I'll give him credit for that.
Oh, those are the firefighters that have been doing the stadium steps. It's like, hey, there's a whole camera crew over there. No, it's 4 firefighters with gear on. They've been doing the stadium steps while we've been doing the show. And there you go. Mentioned on its podcast, this might be the best shooting team he has covered. Can you please elaborate? It's the best shooting team I've covered. I did, yeah.
Wow.
It is the best shooting team I've covered. There haven't been a whole lot of great shooting teams. There have been some good shooters, but there haven't been a whole lot of good shooting teams in the past 13, 14 years at UNM. Anthony Mathis was a great shooter. He didn't play 2 years he was here. The 2 years he did play, I wouldn't say the entire team was good. Paul Weir's first year, I would say, was a pretty good shooting team. But, yeah, this year's team, I mean, of the 5 starters who I can see as being starters, there's 6 guys who I see being in the mix. But 5 of those guys, and 2 of them I just don't know who's going to start yet, they can all shoot three-pointers. They can all shoot from the outside. I would say Dayton Albury might be, even though his numbers are great, like he might be not the worst shooter, but like the least threatening shooter of what I think will be the starting 5. But he's the drive and kick guy. They didn't recruit anybody that doesn't fit a system that is based and predicated on on creating open 3-point shots. And if they create open 3-point shots, that only works if you have a guy who's there going to catch and shoot and make the 3. And it wasn't that they weren't always there were some open 3-point shots last year on the Lobo team that was pretty good. Got to the second round of the NCAA tournament, but that was not a good shooting team, the Lobos last year. And I would say this year's team is certainly much better than them shooting. Do the Lobos make the NCAA tournament? Geoff Albury and myself know that we should. I think their ceiling is. I think the Mountain West is still a 3 to 4 bid league. And I think that the Lobos are going to be competing for the 3 or 4 spot in the league. So they will be competing with 3 other teams. I think basically 2 through 7 are going to be competing probably for 3 spots. Ruben Douglas, the best shooter. Marlon Palmer, best creator. Any Tim Lightfoots or Waylon Whites on the roster? I don't think Ruben Douglas was the best shooter. I think he was a great scorer and a very good shooter, but I don't think he was the best shooter even in Lobo history. I know he led the nation in scoring, but I don't think he was the best shooter. How did Antonio Cho look other than the issue? I think Antonio Cho looks great. I think he looks really good. I think he disappears at times. But when he is aggressive, he's damn good. So I think him and Kevin Patton both have this wow you factor with their athleticism and their upside. And then 4 minutes of playing time might go by and you're like, okay, but they haven't done anything yet. So sometimes they either need to get found more, and you can blame that on teammates, or they need to be more assertive and find a way to show that they're that much better. So, okay. Wrapping it up. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for your comments. We'll have another post-game show, another late post-game show.
Yeah.
They're all going to be late this year, the rest of the way, it seems like.
Well, the home game's at like 1 p.m.
The home game that I'm going to be in Washington for, we got to figure out how we're doing the Utah State game.
No.
We're going to have to figure out how we're doing that.
That's
one.
a bad weekend for you to be out of town, too.
Yeah, but we might be able to do it remotely. I think I can mix a pregame Washington State exhibition basketball game show in with a postgame football show if the timing works out just right. So
this will be an all-time test of our technical prowess. I'm looking forward to this.
This is show 5 in a row without audio problems. Well, the audio problem of this show is that you can't hear us just fine. That's the problem. So.
Thank you to everybody for tuning in. As always, giving us your comments, producing the show for us. We appreciate it. We love interacting with you guys. And we will see you on Saturday night.
Well, we'll see some of you Thursday at Balloon Fiesta, where we are looking forward to this 4 a.m. shift of See you guys. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the snitch.